Prickly Mesquite Distilling Company in Tuscola, Texas welcomes you to this video. Brought to you by Texas Trails Whiskey. Grab the bull by the horns and wrangle you some up today.
Good afternoon out there. Jim with Prickly Mesquite Distilling Company coming at you with a little video. Been a while since we put something on. Our distillery is about complete. We're going to be filing our state paperwork finally next week. That's our goal. My regular job, of course, I've been so busy, have not been able to put as much time as I'd like to into Texas Trails, but again, Lord willing, it'll come around and it's good time. Gotta pay the bills, gotta have a job. So this is kind of our secondary plan, secondary job, our little hobby we're doing after work. So thank you for joining us. We're here, and basically what I have is I have 5 bottles in front of me, and in these 5 bottles, these are again, these are different samples that were made in a different manner. And the reason we're doing this is that when Jim put together Texas Trails Whiskey and the original recipe and everything we did, we were using products that work for small batch production, but not feasible for larger batch production. And at the same time, if we can make it a little bit of an improvement on what we're doing, of course, we're always welcome to that. Hard to believe as good as Generation 3 was, but you never know. And so with that, one of the first things we had to kind of work at trying to get the right thing was the yeast that we're using to ferment. I was using a turbo yeast, which again is not going to be the best thing for flavors, but we created an amazing flavor with it. But could we get better? So that's where we're at. I looked at a lot of different yeasts, and I kind of went with a company. They're actually out of Canada, White Star Yeast, and did a lot of talking to their chemist over the phone, kind of explained to him what Texas Trails was, what we were trying to do, where we were trying to go. He was very helpful to try to pick out the best yeast to use. Gave us a couple suggestions, and so in those couple of suggestions, we actually have a couple right here that we've tried different things and to come up with what we're doing. So with that, these 5 samples are about 2/3 through their aging life right now, and so we've started them off, of course, as a spirit. We put them into the wood, and we're about 2/3 through that process. We've in the last 3 weeks kind of watched some significant changes in the flavor and the profile of it, and we've noticed some changes in the yeast, what the yeasts have done to the Texas Trails compared to again what Gen 3 was, but all better changes. The first one we're going to try right here is this is done with a yeast that is made primarily for a sugar wash. And so they suggested that we try this just to see where it would go and see what it would do, not knowing really what we were going to get. So we went ahead and we did cook us up a small sample run, and we used this yeast in here. And again, as it's been aging, what we've noticed is that the product, that this is sweeter than what we would normally be accustomed to. The flavors are good, but it definitely has a different profile from where we were with the turbo yeast. It's definitely a lot sweeter. It's been aging really well. The nose on it again is not as smoky, not as what I would expect at this point of the aging. Let's see where it's at in taste. And so the first thing I get is I get sweet. So when I put it, and again, for some people that may be a good thing. For Texas Trails, it's not really what Texas Trails is. So you get sweet, and then the wood starts coming in behind the sweet. And right now, predominantly, I can really taste the oak in there. The smokiness of, again, the other woods is not there. I'm not seeing that at all. So again, it's not bad. It's just not what we are. So this yeast definitely, for Texas Trails, I'm probably not going to be going with this yeast. we're going to move on and we're going to go to this right here. These two here were actually done with a different yeast, and it's again a yeast that they put out that's more for a rye whiskey, so to help bring out more of the flavors of the grain versus a sugar wash. So we went ahead and we tried these. And this first one, there's also a difference. This first one was done in dent corn, and basically we had to start looking at different corns because what we've been using is flake corn, and so flake corn's not really available all year round. It basically start producing somewhere around October, and the production runs through April, May, and it'll get cut off and it won't be made again until next October. So we would have to purchase a large quantity, keep it on hand to get us through that season. And again, very few mills are doing flake corn, and so the difference in these two is I'm using yellow dent corn in here, is with the yellow dent corn, I grind it down, but I have to gelatinize this yellow dent corn. So I have to take the cooking temperature up to almost boiling to get, again, this to gelatinize, to get the starches to separate from that corn. Whereas with the flake corn, that process has already been done. When they flake corn, basically they take that hard corn, they steam it, they triple steam it, roll it, and so all of that high temperature work has already been done for me. So with the dent corn, basically I've got to take it up to 250 degrees, just right there before boiling. Couple hours there to let it again to let it gelatinize, to get the starches out of it. And then we have to let it cool down. We have to cool it down back down to about 155 degrees, and then we have to cook it again to add the barley in, because the 6-row barley, for it to convert the starches to sugar, it can't get any hotter than about 155 degrees. And so basically our cooking process between the starches and barley have to go into two different processes and two different times. Doubles your energy, doubles your effort, doubles everything. So again, not ideal. This, doing the dent corn's not ideal, but it may become necessary if we can't find the flake corn. And so thus we are definitely working with it to see. And again, we want to keep Texas Trails whiskey with the same Texas Trails whiskey today, tomorrow, the next day. So we want to see if there's going to be a noticeable difference in the flavor and the profile. That's Texas Trails, man. I'll tell you, in the last week, the smoky has mixed in with that butterscotch oak and a little bit of vanilla, and it is just getting really, really nice. The nose on this is phenomenally nice. And we've got it in a different tumbler because the sweet in here would not do this any justice if we mixed it with it. It's just really got an incredible nose on it. The body in here, the legs are phenomenal. It's got a great body to it. You're not going to see that in the glass. I don't know, maybe you will. See the color in it. It's just superb. It's darkened up. It's really, really rich. Let's see where it's gone in the last week since I've tried it. Wow. There it is. There's that smoky flavor kicking in. The White Star yeast is definitely a major improvement over the turbo yeast that we were using. It's incredible how much more flavor from the corn that's coming in, how much more flavor right now I'm getting from the woods. And man, is it smooth. It is smoothing out really, really nice. This is probably, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 20%. As good as Generation 3 was, this is probably another 20% kick up in quality and smoothness and flavor from that Generation 3. Really, really good. And so, again, this is done, same yeast, same White Star rye, but this is done with the flake corn that we would prefer to use. And so basically here we're trying to make sure that between these two, we're trying to look for some different flavors, some different profiles. You can see the color is phenomenally good in here. Wow, great nose. Man, every every blind squirrel finds an acorn, and God is so good to have allowed me to stumble across this whole thing. I'm still blown away by that we've stumbled into Texas trails and we're making a run with something that is just so enjoyable. We've got to share this with a few people and you know, to get opinions, and they've enjoyed it so much. And is there anything better than watching someone enjoy something that you've created? I don't think there is. I really don't. So let's see where the flake corn. Amazing. So, wow. And it just keeps coming. And that's really the difference in Texas trails, is the flavor. I'm telling you, 10 minutes from now, I will still have this blowing up in my mouth. It is so smooth. And right now, I'm going to say that the basic flavors here are pretty much the same. The smokiness in this jar is a little ahead of here, probably half a week or so ahead. So this will get here, but this is just a little ahead. And again, if you understand, we've had a lot of nice highs and lows. We're getting ready to have another low come in, a little low system come in tomorrow, which helps impregnate the spirits, gets in deeper into the wood, gets more flavor in. Depending on which cut. These have basically 6 different kinds of wood in here. And they're measured out. So they all have the exact, you know, amount in grams per jar. It's just a matter of, you know, again, the differences between each piece of wood, whatever. Who knows? They're all actually out of all of the mesquite, pretty much all out of the same board. But between that board, you have just, you know, again, different, a little different sometimes flavor that comes out. But this is phenomenally good. I wish you could be here trying it with me. And so the next one we're going to go to is we're going to go to this jar. And this jar is made with a little different process. And so what brings this jar in, this has got the same, this has the same, we're using the White Star rye, because again, I only made one sample with the sugar wash because I really expected it to be too sweet. I figured this would be where we went, and it really is. This is where we're going with it. And so one of the products in Texas Trails is mesquite flour, and made from mesquite beans from honey mesquite. And so the chemist that I work with to get the mesquite flour, again, I was talking to him about pulling out the sugars and starches, which really sugars. It's about 42% sucrose sugar in that mesquite flour. And I was talking about cooking it out and just talking to him about opinions. And so what he had told me is, he said, well, you know, you can put it in cold water, stir it around, the sucrose sugar will come out. And heating it up, I'm trying to get flavor profiles out. He's pretty much telling me that, you know, yeah, maybe a little. He said, but if you really want to get the flavor profile out, you need to cook it in ethanol. There you have it. And so we did. We sacrificed some of our ethanol, Texas Trails basically, we had, and we used it to pull out the sugars and the flavor out of that mesquite flour, and see what difference it would make, if any difference, if it was something worth pursuing. Now, this was a ton of work. The dent corn, again, a lot more work to produce than the flake corn. This was a lot of work because we had to go do another cook all on its own with just the mesquite flour. Again, mixing, again, a 50-50 basically mix of ethanol and water and the mesquite flour. Cook it out, press it out, separate it all out, then add it back into our wash when we do the final run with the corn and the barley. So again, it was a lot more process, but let's see where it's at. It's different, and it's been doing really, really well. Wow. And so the one word I'm going to say to the differences in here, the flavors are pretty close. You know, again, I'm not the master, I guess. I have a neighbor that's pretty dang good at flavors, and he's He's on his 2-week shift on. When he gets back, he's going to taste these for me. But what this is compared to these two, and pretty much same, these two are exactly the same ingredients, just process is different. By cooking that mesquite flour in the ethanol, what it's made is, this is really, the word is creamier. So when you put it in your mouth, it's almost, and I'm not, don't mistake this for sweet, because it's not. It's exactly just a beautiful, you know, drier bodied whiskey, but this is creamier. It literally, it's like silk in your mouth, and it's so smooth and so creamy, goes down so well, but yet you still get all of that flavor. It's still going off right now. It's amazing how much flavor this has in it, and how long it stays with you. It really is. And so it's definitely, it's a few notches up from here, no doubt. Is it feasible for production to make mass quantities of this? Not a chance. I get some of that ethanol back when we redistill, no doubt, but you're losing some of that in the process, and it takes so long to do it that the cost, you know, this, as good as it is, and maybe we do a select run every now and then and put a different label on it and kick the price up, really good, you know, but whether you could recoup your cost in making this, you know, I really don't know. But wow, it's phenomenally good. Phenomenally good. Really like it. And so we're going to go on to number 5 now, our last one, because the video is getting a little long, but that's all right. And what this is, okay, so as I did, these were my 4 samples. And so as I filled the 1-gallon jar up and put the wood in, I could only get so much in. And I had basically a gallon or a little more than a gallon of each one from the original distilled run that we did. And so the leftovers, I took all of the leftovers from here and I put it here and mixed them all together. So this is really, I can't recreate this. I did it just to do it, just to see what it would be like. And you know, like I said, it was fun to do, but this is something that I couldn't recreate to sell. I mean, it would be almost impossible to try to get this flavor profile back from all those. And let's see how different now. It's been through the, you know, again, through the aging process. We taste, sample, watch it, like we're doing right now. We've got a few weeks left, so we're really intently watching it to make sure it doesn't take a turn on us. Anything crazy, and we're trying to get it to that point of this is Texas Trails Shawnee, so we're trying to get it there. And of course, then there's Texas Trails Chisholm, which goes on another run for a much longer, double the time, and that product is phenomenally well. And the color of that, you know, I don't know if you can see how that's Chisholm right there, and it is so rich. It is so smooth, so rich. It's incredible. And so let's see where this is right now. It was really good the last time I dipped into it. Wow. I really like it. Okay, so the little bit of sweet in there kind of gets pulled apart, and there's just an essence of it left in with all of this, and all of this combining, especially these and these combined together, gives it, I mean, it's ridiculously smooth, so full of flavor. It's not as, again, the silky part of this kind of goes away a little bit. There's a little bit of that texture in it when you're drinking it, but my gosh, is it good. This would be another good one to have on its own if you could recreate it, but boy, it would take a lot of work to recreate it. I think we're gonna get out and we're gonna make Texas Trails and run with that for a little bit before we go, but very good. So they're all where they should be in flavor and profile, better than what I would have imagined. I've got, you know, again, this is a bottle of Generation 3, so in lab work and all, we gotta call it lab, like I'm some kind of mad scientist. This is what I've allowed people to taste, and this is what everybody says is phenomenal. And I just did the same thing I did last. I just spilled it, flicked the straw and spilled it out. So there you go. And so this is All right, so way ahead right here. Nose on this is smokier. And so this Gen 3 was done with the turbo yeast. So that's the major difference between these two right here is the yeast. And it's amazing the changes and the difference that just that yeast makes in a product. Wow, it's great. I mean, it's smooth and it's great, but if you were here and I gave you this and I gave you this is going to be so much more flavor, has so much more going on in it, but it's still retaining that Texas Trail base that it's Texas Trails. It's just exploding. And so there you have it. My sampling coming back from watching some softball in Longview, Texas, is the Texas Lutheran Dogs went up and won a couple games this weekend. They're 6-0 now, making their defense of their national championship. That's why I couldn't do it Saturday. So here we are on President's Day. I'm catching up on this and just checking where it's at. Next Saturday, there'll be a week to go before it's supposed to be ready to come off if the time charts and everything work out. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little peek in here. We're really excited to be at the point of getting that Texas license filed and getting into production. I pretty much know what I want to do. I've answered all my questions on long-term, what are we going to use to produce, again, bigger batch, and we're ready to give it a roll. So shout out right here. I don't know if you can see these here. Dotson Cervantes Winery in Voca, Texas. If you're ever in a store looking for a bottle of red, a great red, this man is Alphonse Dotson, National League football player, played for the Oakland Raiders. 70 to 73, he was with Raiders. He played for the Packers, I believe, and the Redskins, I think, is who drafted him. But All-American, 1964 All-American from Grambling. Super, him and his wife are such great people. And I'm going to tell you, their something red is something. It's kind of like you take that, when you put it in your mouth, it's kind of like getting to the Chisholm. Your eyes kind of light up because it's just so good. Everything is so just the way it should be that it's very, very special. So Alphonse, good friend of mine, shout out to you if you're watching my video, Alphonse. And again, if you've never tried Dotson Cervantes, I highly suggest if you can get a hold of some of the Something Red, or his Hailstorm is another great. If you like a good dry setup red, his Hailstorm product is really good too. So that's it. We're out of here. We'll catch you later on the next video. Thank you for watching.